So I was thinking more about this laser system that could have been aboard the USS Fitzgerald and how it could have played a role in this event. With the news just recently that we are detecting unprecedented levels of North Korean submarine activity, I'm wondering if the USS Fitzgerald was actively tracking a North Korean or possibly Chinese submarine in that channel. The one thing that would have to happen for the Fitzgerald to be able to use that laser system to shoot down a ballistic missile is it has to hit it in its boost phase, meaning while it's lifting off and accelerating. Once it gets to a certain altitude, it's pretty much a done deal. And if the North Koreans wanted to hit Tokyo, they would want to get as close as they could to do it, to give the U.S. as little time as they could to respond. Now, we know the Fitzgerald was up in the Sea of Japan just a week or two prior, and I wonder if they had been tracking this North Korean submarine, and it had tracked down into that channel, thinking maybe it could lose the Fitzgerald with all of the traffic down there. And when it didn't do it, and it got to a certain point, perhaps it released an EMP mine. Now, before you think that is just going overboard, I want to show you something. Okay, this is breaking defense. Okay, and this is from the U.S. Navy. According to statistics from the U.S. Navy mine campaign in Japanese waters using surface vessels to sow mines, roughly 257 mines were required per vessel sunk or damaged. Relying on aircraft to sow mines yielded an average of 27 mines per vessel sunk or damaged. But employing submarines to lay mines achieved an average of just 12 mines per vessel sunk. Enthused Chinese author Ren Down in 1998, it's easily apparent that combat efficiency of submarine-laid sea mines exceeds that of most other military forces and systems. So the idea that one of these submarines carrying one of these ICBMs might have also been carrying a small contingent of mines, probably EMP mines, to be able to take out a destroyer that was tracking it isn't beyond the realm of believability. And that could very well have been what happened. They released that mine. It's not designed to do a ton of physical damage, but it tracked its way up, and we know these new mines are not like old mines. They can look at a specific target, understand its magnetic signature and its signature of going through the water, target it, and hit it with the EMP, and that's why we had the Fitzgerald go completely dark. Unable to move, unable to communicate, right in the path of that cargo ship. And that could very well be what happened. Because this is an area that even the Navy has said it's very, very congested and very, very dangerous, and there's a lot of, like they say, a lot of traffic that converges there to get up into Tokyo. But as we can see, even now, we did this in the last video, and this is real time, this is right now. Okay, and this shows very, very clearly that there is nothing here. This is the area this happened, and there's still nothing here. In case anybody wants to check, I'll show you. Okay, you click on this, and then over here, it shows you what it is. It's the Grand Mercury, and it says 8:43 UTC. Okay, so if it's 8:43 UTC, then what we do is we go over here to the World Time Zone, and we find UTC, and there it is. Well, it's 8:09 p.m. I suppose I can refresh that and that'll update it. There you go, 8:46 p.m. UTC. So that was real time. That's real time. That's what's going on, and that's what has gone on. There has been no traffic that has decided that it feels like it's safe to move through here. So this could very well be very, very close to what happened that night. The Fitzgerald was by itself. The Fitzgerald had no other ships around it. It was conducting its mission. Destroyers are anti-ballistic missile and they are anti-submarine. And as we can see now, and as we have seen since the removal of the Fitzgerald from the region, we have seen an amped up effort from the North Koreans, and Iran launched one as well. And now they've done this thing, this ejection test, where they basically test the steam system that pushes the ICBM through the surface of the water so that there isn't any damage to the submarine from the exhaust of the rocket. And that's, you know, with a submarine, you would have to be very, very close. This thing could launch from anywhere. That's one of the big advantages of our submarine fleet when we had, you know, boomers that were all over the ocean, is that we could have one of these things surface and launch nuclear weapons at any given time, and there was really no way to intercept them. And that's what the North Koreans are hoping for here too. So I'm thinking that might have been the case, that this North Korean submarine that was being tracked by the Fitzgerald let go a mine, released a mine, and disabled the Fitzgerald, and then went about its way. And that's what it's going to do. This thing is going to sneak up on somebody, on some city. And, you know, this I can't ever get it right, Kim Jong-il or Kim Jong-un, one of the two, has said that the entire mainland of the U.S. is now within his reach. And you would think, well, not from North Korea, but from a submarine? He only needs to move a few thousand miles out into the Pacific, and he could launch anywhere. And THAAD is only deployed in South Korea and in Alaska. And if this thing would make its way to, you know, say 1,000 miles off the west coast, 500 miles off the west coast, undetected, untracked, the Pacific Ocean is huge, and launches one of these things, I mean, it'd be suicide. I mean, everybody thinks that we would respond with this giant, you know, nuclear attack back, but are you sure? Are you really sure that that's what the U.S. would do? It's what we should do. I think that's what, of course, we should do. But what do you think the world would say? Not that their opinion matters, but as we've seen in the last few years, politics gets in the way of things. And launching 6 or 7 or 8 nuclear weapons in response into North Korea would probably be something that could escalate. And if the North Koreans did this, you know, I'm not saying I'm for this. I'm not saying this is the way to do it. But I can really see how the U.S. would want to respond in a different way. Or the world would push the U.S. to respond in a different way than with nuclear weapons. They pretty much... I can only think of one city in North Korea. It's Pyongyang. I mean, and annihilating that city, leveling that city with nuclear weapons in response. I think the American people would absolutely lose their mind if we didn't. But I think that's what this dictator in North Korea is betting on. That he'll be able to get away with this. And he might have to endure some sanctions and endure some problems, but I don't think he really believes that the U.S. has the guts, politically, to use one of our submarines or one of our missiles to put a nuclear weapon on their soil. So, but we'll see. Like I said, just to be on the record, I think we should. I think we should have leveled them a long time ago. But it's just it's going to be a tough one to see. It's going to be an interesting fall and winter. So thank you everyone very much. I really appreciate the support. You guys have been fantastic. I really definitely want your guys' input on this. I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much.